Hello there. Now this terrified me, so after watching this video you might want to reevaluate what you think you know about the WEF, Building Back Better and the Great Reset. I caught up with a video from the most recent World Economic Forum Davos meetup of the great and good, and what I saw should terrify us all. And not because this is the future, no, because this can be done right now. It's the present. The talk, called The Battle for Your Brain, really does point to a dystopian future of the permanently abnormal. A permanent abnormal of artificial intelligence being used to monitor your brainwave patterns so as to shape the world around you and modify your behaviour. The talk was given by Nita Farahani, who gave us a positive slant on it, with a couple of warnings that government will have to legislate or bad people will take advantage of us. No Sherlock. Now this is what Nita Farahani said back in 2016.
We're not yet at the point where what all of you are thinking right now is something that, like a little thought bubble above your head, is something we can see, but we're getting there. Which means that the NSA and other organizations can spy not just on your email and your cell phones, but soon potentially on your brains as well.
Soon they will be able to spy on your brains as well. But that soon is now here. Here's a cartoon video shown at the January WEF conference about this new brainwave tech in the workplace, and listen to what Farahani says afterwards.
Let's roll.
You're in the zone. Even you can't believe how productive you've been. Your memo is finished. Your inbox is under control, and you're feeling sharper than you have in a decade. Sensing your joy, your playlist shifts to your favorite song, sending chills up your spine as the music begins to play. You glance at the program running in the background on your computer screen and notice a now familiar sight that appears whenever you're overloaded with pleasure, your theta brainwave activity decreasing in the temporal regions of your brain. You mentally move the cursor to the left and scroll through your brain data over the past few hours. You can see your stress levels rising as the deadline to finish your memo approached, causing a peak in your beta brainwave activity right before an alert popped up, telling you to take a brain break. But what's that unusual change in your brain activity when you're asleep? It started earlier in the month. You send a text message to your doctor with a mental swipe of your cursor. Could you take a quick look at my brain data? Anything to worry about? Your mind starts to wander to the new colleague on your team, whom you know you shouldn't be daydreaming about, given the policy against intra-office romance. But you can't help fantasizing just a little. But then you start to worry that your boss will notice your amorous feelings when she checks your brain activity, and shift your attention back to the present. You breathe a sigh of relief when the email she sends you later that day congratulates you on your brain metrics from the past quarter, which have earned you another performance bonus. You head home jamming to the music, with your work-issued brain-sensing earbuds still in. When you arrive at work the next day, a somber cloud has fallen over the office. Along with emails, text messages, and GPS location data, the government has subpoenaed employees' brainwave data from the past year. They have compelling evidence that one of your coworkers has committed massive wire fraud. Now, they're looking for his co-conspirators. You discover they are looking for synchronized brain activity between your coworker and the people he has been working with. While you know you're innocent of any crime, you've been secretly working with him on a new startup venture. Shaking, you remove your earbuds.
What do you think? Is it a future you're ready for? You may be surprised to learn that it's a future that has already arrived. Everything in that video that you just saw is based on technology that is already here today. Artificial intelligence has enabled advances in decoding brain activity in ways that we never before thought possible. You've heard a lot about AI over the past few years. Here at Davos, it's been the talk of the hour. But I want to talk about it in a different way, which is the ability to decode brainwave activity. After all, what you think, what you feel, it's all just data. Data that in large patterns can be decoded using artificial intelligence.
Brain and thought surveillance. And with recent advances in tech, this can already be achieved by using non-invasive means. There's no need for implants, just for you to wear your earbuds or a hat with a chip in the band. And according to Farahani, reading your bank card PIN number from your brainwaves is now also possible, as well as reproducing the faces you look at. And it's coming to a workplace near you very soon. So just because this tech exists, it seems that we are expected to accept that employers have the right to monitor our brainwaves when in the factory or office or even working from home, so that they know what we're thinking about, so that they can enhance our productivity. Just because this tech now exists, we're meant to accept we have no sovereignty over our own thoughts. With the positives being put forward that it would allow computers to alert managers when a driver or a pilot was getting too fatigued to be able to safely drive or fly.
Consider the fact that right now, many workplaces have individuals who have to be awake and alert at all times in order to do their jobs well. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Take this example where this trucker decided to take a 20-hour shot for a 1,500-mile ride, well exceeding the amount of time that any trucker, long-haul trucker, is supposed to drive. His employer didn't discover his choices until the fatal accident that was disastrous for the company and cost many lives. But he could have known much sooner. He could have detected whether or not the trucker was entering into the earliest stages of microsleep, starting to go from being alert to tired well before it occurred. And he could have done so through a simple hat, a simple wearable hat that has embedded electrode sensors that would pick up brainwave activity and give a score between 1 to 5 to help the employer and the employee know what stage of alertness the person was experiencing and whether or not they were starting to fall asleep. Now you might think, okay, we have driver assist technology in cars already, why do we need this? It's because this happens much sooner, much more accurately, and it gives you the real-time information that you need in order to make choices to intervene before a person is perilously exhausted. And we as a society should want that. We should want a technology that enables us to be safer, to all be able to exist in an environment where commercial drivers or individuals who need to be wide awake are wide awake when they're supposed to be.
It all sounds so reasonable, doesn't it? But there's always the big mission creep ratchet attached to things like this, and the unscrupulous will lever every advantage they can out of this. So how long before we find out that the police have the right to monitor your brainwaves? Now, the talk seemed to be predominantly about how this would be operated in the workplace, with questions about how could workers retain their cognitive liberty if their managers kit their workers out with compulsory bossware that monitors their very thoughts and emotions, with the eventual outcome of the employees' every private thought and even their very soul being laid out bare. And this was just from the tech you wear external to your body. When it comes to implants, the picture is even more terrifying, where every innocent injection could become a total surveillance opportunity. And no one mentioned the obvious. Would we end up identifying people as potential criminals because they have criminal thoughts but never take criminal action, but then treat them as actual criminals permanently, just in case? And even forcibly implant the potentially criminal and the proven criminal with monitoring chips, just to be sure? Now, apart from among the WEF acolytes who will be delighted with all of this, I would guess there will be a lot of horrified concern out there about the future of humanity should this sort of technology be forced on us. But as ever, there is a way for the WEF types to get around our concerns. They'll just use the same tactics as they're using now to get people used to eating bugs and living in 15-minute closed communities. And that is to get school kids to wear brain monitors from day one in the classroom. You can see it coming a mile away. School children will be the vehicle to walking eyed wide shut into a new world of self-imposed slavery, all being watched and monitored by artificial intelligence for the benefit of the few. And one assumes that as technology gets more advanced, then not only will they be able to read brainwaves, but they will also be able to write brainwaves straight into your head. Can you imagine being bombarded with happy waves while you're at work, feeling privileged to toil for the minimum wage with lots of unpaid overtime, just to get that work buzz? Or wondering why eating any food over your 1,200-calorie daily allowance or that extra glass of wine makes you feel so depressed? It does make you wonder if the tinfoil hatters weren't right in their selection of headwear all along, doesn't it? But as I alluded to, this technology has huge ramifications for us where the criminal law is concerned. From enforced brain monitoring when being questioned, to witnesses in court, and then to stop and search brain scans. The ultimate lie detector. Will we even need witnesses? Where will it stop? How long would it be before not wearing a brain monitor 24/7 becomes the criminal offence? And then there's the use of this tech by the criminals themselves, especially the government crooks.